What if I told you that the team currently being hit hardest by injuries in all of Major League Baseball is also one of the most resilient rosters in the sport? What if the very arms being wheeled into the training room right now are the same ones that carried a franchise to its first World Series in over 3 decades, just months ago? The Toronto Blue Jays are hurting. There is no sugarcoating that. But there is a bigger story behind this injury wave. And today, we are going to tell it in full. Because underneath the chaos, there are real signs of hope and a new strategy that might just change how this team plays baseball going forward. Hello, Jays Nation. Welcome to Jays Quick News, your go-to spot for the latest Toronto Blue Jays updates. Every single day, we bring you the analysis, the context, and the honest takes that every Blue Jays fan deserves. If you are new here, subscribe right now, hit the bell, and never miss another update. Now, today's topic cuts deep because it hits players we all watched perform in October. This is not just an injury report. This is the story of a defending AL Pennant team fighting to stay alive in April. Let's get into it. Here is the landscape the Blue Jays are navigating right now in 2026. The team that won the American League pennant just last fall and pushed all the way to the World Series is currently without 5 rotation-relevant arms. Jose Berrios is dealing with a right elbow stress fracture and was placed on the injured list on March 22nd. Yesavage is managing a right shoulder impingement. Shane Bieber, who was one of the heroes of October, reported to camp with right forearm fatigue and has now been transferred from the 15-day to the 60-day IL, a development that pushes his return to mid to late May at the earliest. Ponce suffered a torn right ACL just one start into the season and is done for the year. And Ponce Francis, another key rotation piece, underwent Tommy John surgery and will miss all of 2026. According to MLB insider John Morosi, the Blue Jays are now actively considering using an opener strategy to manage games in the short term. The opener model places a high-leverage relief pitcher at the start of a game for 1 or 2 innings, followed by a bulk arm who absorbs the remaining load. It is a strategy popularized by Tampa Bay, adopted across the league, but one the Blue Jays have historically avoided. The rotation that opened the 2026 season, Kevin Gausman, Dylan Cease, Eric Lauer, Max Scherzer, and the now injured Ponce, has produced a 5.20 ERA through the early weeks, ranking 3rd worst in the American League. The immediate impact is impossible to ignore. The Blue Jays are 6-9 and sitting 4th in the AL East. The starters have combined for just 2 wins all season. The offense is carrying a team that was supposed to win games with its pitching. The pressure is real, and manager John Schneider is being asked to build something out of nothing on a nightly basis. But here is the unique perspective that most coverage is missing. These injuries are happening to a team that is better built to absorb them than almost anyone else in baseball. The Blue Jays have Kevin Gausman, who has been outstanding, delivering back-to-back double-digit strikeout performances to open the year. They have a bullpen with enough depth to stretch into opener-style games. And most importantly, they have a return timeline that is not a disaster. Think about what the 2025 Tampa Bay Rays did for the opener strategy at the league level. They used it not as desperation, but as design, and they remained a playoff contender for years because of it. The Blue Jays could discover, in this forced experiment, that a similarly flexible approach actually maximizes their best arms in high-leverage spots. That is not a consolation prize. That is a competitive advantage hiding inside a crisis. There is also historical precedent within the Blue Jays organization itself. When the 2015 squad absorbed injuries mid-season, the front office responded with deadline acquisitions that reshaped the roster and fueled a playoff run. The organization has a track record of responding to adversity with creative solutions. And let's not forget, Yesavage, who struck out 12 batters in Game 5 of the World Series just 5 months ago, is already being described by the coaching staff as encouraging, with his velocity ticking back up in rehab outings. He could return before the end of April. Here is what the realistic picture looks like over the next 6 to 8 weeks. Yesavage is expected to be the first arm back, likely by late April, after completing another rehab start or two in the minors. Berrios, who has been pitching pain-free despite the elbow stress fracture diagnosis, is targeting a return in early May. Bieber's timeline is the most uncertain. He only recently threw off a mound for the third time, but mid to late May is the working projection. If that sequence holds, the Blue Jays would enter June with what could be one of the deepest rotations in the American League. Gausman, Yesavage, Berrios, Bieber, and Cease all healthy and competing for innings. That is not a rotation built for survival. That is a rotation built for October. The opener experiment in the meantime is not a surrender. It is a bridge to something genuinely dangerous. The Blue Jays are not broken. They are rebuilding the plane mid-flight, just like champions do. What do you think, Jays Nation? Is the opener strategy a bold move or a last resort? Drop your take in the comments below. And if you found this breakdown valuable, hit that like button, subscribe to Jays Quick News, and ring the notification bell, because this rotation situation is going to evolve fast, and you want to be first in the know when it does. See you in the next one. Let's go Blue Jays!